Hello, World Civ 107. Welcome to week 6, and I'm opening up the last week of work, and then we have finals the next week. So first of all, congratulations on getting this far. It's always tough, these cram courses, as I always talk about. Don't forget that Wednesday is the last day to turn in late work if we've already had a discussion agreeing that you can turn in late work. I will not take any late work after Wednesday evening, okay? And if you all of a sudden want to turn in late work and we haven't had this discussion yet, then it's your time now to get a hold of me and see what we can work out. Because I'm just going to be limited with time. That's it, pure and simple. So just keep that in mind. I also just want to remind you that when you look at your grade, I give a lot of points. So some of you that didn't do so well on certain assignments, you're finding that you're still able to pull off getting an A if you keep up your work. So I just want you to keep that in mind. Look at your grade. Now keep in mind also that if you look at the grade book, I think I might have mentioned this in one of the other announcements, Canvas keeps all of my assignments from my old classes, and so when you look on Canvas, you might see assignments that I never assigned and wonder about them. Don't worry about them. The only assignments you ever had to worry about were the ones that were in your weekly modules, and the other ones that you see when you look on the grade book area, that doesn't count for anything, so just forget about it. I don't know why I have to deal with those, and I've never figured out how to clean that up. So that's all I was going to say about that. Last thing to say, we are clearly talking about we're ending on some very important topics. Israel-Palestine conflict and history of the modern Middle East. I'm leaving out a lot of things because we don't have the time. So on the modern Middle East section, I don't talk about ISIS. Usually I cover the rise and fall of ISIS. It's clearly an important topic. There's just a lot of topics to cover, and a lot of things have been happening in recent times. And so, and of course, there's more to it all than just that. It's just the bottom line is, I'm hoping to get you exposed to a broader set of things. And if you're interested in more of these topics, then, by all means, please always keep researching yourself. Now, in terms of the Israel-Palestine conflict, this was good timing. In that, if you've noticed anything going on in the mainstream media or some of the alternative media, Ben & Jerry's ice cream are getting a lot of flack because the owners, who are also Jewish themselves, are claiming that they will no longer sell their ice cream to the parts of Israel that are considered controversial, occupied. That'd be like the West Bank settlements and the controversial neighborhoods that are removing Palestinians to turn into Jewish neighborhoods in East Jerusalem. And so they didn't say that they would no longer sell ice cream to Israel. They didn't want to sell it to the occupied territories. So basically, people who want to bulldoze Palestinian homes, divert water from Palestinian neighborhoods for the settlements, who want to continue to expel as many Palestinians as possible from certain neighborhoods and create Israeli, Jewish-only neighborhoods and territories, are not going to be able to enjoy Chunky Monkey and fish food ice cream from Ben & Jerry's after doing those things. That's the controversy that's taking place. Why is making it really controversial is that despite the fact that Ben & Jerry are also Jewish and are still selling to Israel, it sends the message that what Israel is doing in parts of the military parts that they control of Palestine and even in East Jerusalem isn't morally acceptable and should be challenged in some way. And so for the Israeli government, they've went on a full campaign to kind of vilify Ben & Jerry and other pro-Israel groups. I'm not going to resolve that for us here, but at least you will, when you watch these videos, I'm hoping you'll be able to understand more or less what's at stake and what people are actually arguing about. And you'll realize that religion, while it complicates things, is not the real source of the problem. It's about who has the right to land and how people should be treated in certain areas of the world. So, in other words, the idea. Well, let's just take identity politics within Israel. Well, actually, I'll back up for a second, and I'm not going to go on this too long because we're going over a bunch of videos on this. In Lebanon, they have a democracy, but you have to identify with the religious group that you're a part of. And in Israel, you can be a full citizen and not be Jewish, but Israel is defined as a Jewish state, not as an Israeli state. It is deliberately not defined as an Israeli state. And if you can have a lot of political power in Israel if you're not Jewish and you're a citizen, but you cannot run for prime minister, because then it wouldn't be a Jewish state anymore. So the question then is Israel, do they have full equality for all of their citizens? Now, in Iran, and you're going to learn more about this, Jews and Christians have representative in government, but under also a discriminatory way, and where they acknowledge the Islamic State as supreme, and they have to accept those conditions there in Iran. In Saudi Arabia, no other religion is allowed to openly exist, and they're an ally of the United States government. So I guess that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be on the bad end of U.S. or Western powers if you don't have religious freedom, right? In any case, I just hope that you'll find all these videos interesting and provide food for thought. I hope that you come out of this class looking at all these events as a better person, regardless of your political perspectives, realizing that all human beings, are struggling to try to find their place in the world, and we can see that things can go very dark, they can go a little bit better, or they can go great. And decisions that are made by people in power really affect us in very big ways. So, having said that, I hope you're all having a great week, and we'll be in touch, and contact me if you need anything here as we move forward. This last week, and the last thing I'll say, this is going to be the last hardest week. Finals week is not going to be that hard. This is it on the difficult level. So good luck with all this, and we'll be in touch.